everyone, my name is Desola. I'm a fashion designer and you are welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel, welcome to Daisy's Wardrobe. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're an existing subscriber, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you've seen my videos before and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And put on the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. I'm an African-inspired ready-to-wear fashion designer based here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I've been in business for over 10 years. So here on my channel, I'm talking about being a fashion designer, starting a ready-to-wear business, running a business, all things fashion, and sometimes, once in a while, I talk about my life. And so in today's video, I'm talking about my life as well. And that is how I started my ready-to-wear business, my ready-to-wear fashion journey of being a fashion designer and a fashion entrepreneur. So I'll give you some background information of my journey of how I started. So basically several years ago, I worked in a financial institution. I had a corporate job where I worked and I did my 9 to 5 like every other corporate job. But actually mine wasn't actually 9 to 5, mine was beyond 9 to 5. I started like really early in the morning and I closed like very late in the night. So I'd done this job for quite a number of years, and while I was working, we had to dress in a certain way. We had to dress corporate. So you had to wear your suit and your corporate dresses and things like that. But on Fridays, we had to, or if you wanted to, most people wanted to anyway, you could dress down. And dressing down was wearing the normal native African attire. So it could be anything, just normal native African attire. So me, on the other hand, I've always loved fashion. I've always had an eye for the very nice and finer things in life. And I did school in Nigeria, and I lived some part of my life outside Nigeria. And coming back, one of the things that got my attention when it comes to dressing up for work on a Friday was the African fabric. So the African fabric is what we call Ankara. I loved the Ankara fabric. I loved the fact that it was very vibrant, it was very colorful. And naturally, I'm a very colorful person. I love vibrant colors. My favorite colors are yellow, pink, orange. So anything in that category, I love. And the Ankara fabric had so many beautiful colors, and some of them had names attached to them. But the thing was, I didn't want to wear the normal African attire of, you know, these kind of like big tops and long skirts, and I don't know, but for those that know, you understand what I'm trying to say. I just wanted to wear nice dresses made with Ankara and just look really nice, because my frame was like really small. I wasn't married, I was single, I was very young. And my friend and I, we worked in an office that we were the only two girls, and we both liked wearing Ankara. And we'd call this tailor to come and take our measurements and sew for us. But the thing was, because we didn't really have that much time outside the office, we had to call this tailor to come in, take our measurements, and then sew for us. He would come on a Friday or any day during the week, and then he would take our measurements, take our fabric, and then go away and come back the following week. And when he comes back, majority of the time there's always an issue. Maybe the fit here is not sitting properly, the breast is like this, the bum is this, the hip is this, the dash is that. And then he'd have to go back and forth, you know, doing alterations for us and all that kind of stuff. But initially I didn't really mind, but later on it got really frustrating, because every single time I had to leave my desk to attend to this guy, whenever I came to deliver my clothes, I had to leave my desk, I had to leave whatever I was doing, and my boss would be shouting and sometimes literally screaming, "Where are you? You haven't submitted this, you haven't submitted that." I had so many deadlines, and I was just like, isn't there anywhere you can just go and buy African dresses? Just dresses I can just wear to work. I don't have time for this guy. And the idea started to build in my head. So as time went by, I was about to get married, and I told my parents, I told my husband to be, that after we get married, or after I get married, I'm going to leave my job and pursue this thing called fashion. I'm going to start making clothes for women, and I wanted to fill that gap because I noticed that I wasn't the only one experiencing the same thing, whereby you have to go back and forth with the tailor trying to, in terms of fitting and things like that. So I started fashion school just before I got married, and it became a project that I was willing to start in my life. I wasn't very sure of how I was going to go about it, but I knew that it was something I wanted to do. And another thing was, after I got married, I got pregnant, and after I had my baby, she was very fragile. She fell ill a few times, and because of the nature of my job, I had to choose what was priority to me. And at that time, it was a no-brainer. My child was of more importance and was priority to me. The health of my child was more important than the job. And then I started to think of an exit plan, how I was going to leave. I gave myself some time, and I said, at this period, I'm going to leave this job. Before I leave, I'm going to start this business. So before I left my job, I started my business. Even though I kept it hush hush, no one knew about the business because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure of what I was doing. I knew I had this thing in my mind, in my spirit, that was just telling me to just go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. But I had so many question marks, and I started it. I didn't tell anybody in the office. I didn't tell any of my friends. I went ahead. I went to look for store locations because from the beginning, I wanted to have a store location. I wanted to have a physical shop. I didn't want to work from home. I didn't want to run my business from home. I knew what I wanted. I had an idea of what I wanted in my head, and I knew it was going to cost me a lot of money. And at this time, I'd worked my corporate job for a couple of years, and I'm proud to say, and always proud to say, that I started this business with my savings. I worked for a number of years in the corporate job, and I lived in my parents' house before I got married. My father always said to me, "You're living in my house, you're eating my food, you don't buy anything, you don't need to buy anything. So I want to see your bank statement every single month after you have been paid." And I was like, no, 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 no. Why do you want to see my statement? It's my life, it's my money, blah, blah, blah. And it was a big tug of war between my dad and I, but eventually I gave in, and he would check my statement. When it became a substantial amount of money, he asked me to put in a fixed deposit, which it was there for some time. And when I needed the money, the money came in very handy for me to start my business. And till today, I am eternally grateful to my dad for forcing me to save up for the rainy day. Because when I started my job, I never ever thought I was going to leave to do something else. So the money helped me start my business. I started in a very small way, even though I had spent some part of the money before I started my business, and what was left was enough to help me to start in a small way, but not in a very big way. But it was able to help me start in a small way. I was able to get a shop. I was able to get some space for a workshop. I was able to get some tailoring, industrial tailoring machines. I was able to get all those things that you use to start a tailoring fashion business. And when I started my business, I was still working. And for the first 3 4 months, I wasn't physically available to run the business the way I would want to run it. So even though I had people working for me, I had staff working for me. When I closed late at night, they had to wait for me. I had to go and see what they had done for the day, what was going on, and all that kind of jazz. And because I wasn't physically present for those couple of months, it was very challenging to run the business, to grow the business. And even though the plan was for me to leave the business, to leave my job, and focus on the business, because I now had a child, which initially my husband and I were planning to wait for a little bit before having children, but as God would have it, we had a child not too long after getting married, and the child was priority. So everyone said, do you think it's a good idea to leave your job now? Do you think it's a good idea? You have to care for this child, you have to take care of this child, leaving your job now, you're not going to be financially stable, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, I thought to myself, everyone can say whatever they want to say. People can say whatever it is they like to say. At the end of it all, it is my life and it is my decision and my new little family. That's my child, my husband, and myself. My husband realized I wasn't happy, and then he called me aside and said to me, why don't you go ahead and leave the job? We'll work it out. We'll figure out something and just face the business, leave your job, and face the business. We'll work it out. We'll figure out something. And that's the beauty of having a partner, a husband, a boyfriend, whatever, that supports your vision, that supports your dream. Because when you have a partner or a husband that supports you, that supports your vision, it makes life a lot easier. When you have someone who doesn't support your dream and your vision, it's very, very challenging. But when you do have someone who supports you, it makes life a lot easier. I left my job and I focused on the business squarely. The first 1 year was, honestly, it was amazing. It was, in fact, my mind was, I don't know, my mind was blown away, literally. I was really, really, in fact, I didn't think things would go the way it did in my first year. I had a very small, tiny shop, and I had a workshop at the back of the shop, and a small table or a small desk, and 2 little seats for the customers. And when I look back, I'm grateful, I'm thankful for humble beginnings. You can start something and it would grow and grow and continue to grow. And you continue to develop yourself, develop the business, develop your skills. It's amazing. And when I look back, my heart is glad. I'm very, very happy. The journey, don't get me wrong, the journey hasn't been easy. My first year was good, my second year was good as well. But I've had a lot of challenges along the way, a lot of ups and downs. In fact, I've really had quite a number of them. But the beauty of it is that through it all, I overcame and I'm still standing. The business is still standing, and I give all glory to God. My business is almost approximately 12 years old. I've been in this business for that length of time. And in that length of time, I've had 4 retail stores altogether. There were times when I was running 2 retail stores at the same time, and there were times where I was just running 1 retail store. And even right now, I'm running 1 retail store, and I want to run 1 retail store because I've had the experience of running 2 retail stores, and I've learned from it. I've learned the good, I've learned the bad, and I've made up my mind that I just want to run 1 store. That's the beauty of it. It's like a journey, and in that journey, you learn a lot of things. When I started my business, I didn't have anybody. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anybody who was a fashion designer. I didn't know anybody who knew how to sew. I didn't know anybody who was doing this business. It was just something I just started. I just started with a leap of faith, believing and hoping for the best. Everything that I know today, everything, literally everything that I know today, I learned on the job. And honestly, it is so beautiful. I learned on the job. And even, there were no people like me on YouTube who tell you stuff about how to start a business, how to run a ready-to-wear business, how to this, how to that, how to start a boutique. There was no one. I had to just figure it out. And even when you find people who are kind of like knowledgeable about business, not necessarily in your kind of business, even if you find people in your line of business and you ask them stuff, people are not always very willing to give information. It used to be so frustrating. I used to be so upset. But as along the line, as time went by, I realized why people were not very open to sharing their knowledge. But you know what? The thing is, as long as you're willing, there's nothing you cannot learn. I started this YouTube channel just like the way I started my business. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to just figure it out. I was just making videos. But I noticed that my fashion videos, me talking about my business, people were a lot more interested about the business, and I started talking about it, and I realized that it was helping people, and I continued. And it's a joy. It brings me so much joy when people send me messages, comments, and how one video or the other has helped them in one way or the other. It brings me so much joy, and I'm glad that my time, because recording videos is not the easiest thing ever, but I'm happy that the videos that I record, the time that I take, people find value in them. I'm not just making videos that are just for the sake of making videos. People find value, so it makes me very, very, very happy. And I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to all my subscribers. I'm so grateful. And those that are just coming on board, thank you very much. You're welcome. And yes, this is the place to be. If you want to learn about fashion, you want to start a fashion business, this is the place to be. In my journey of starting my ready-to-wear business, I don't know it all. I did not know it all. Like I said, I learned on the job. I learned a lot of things from people. I learned a lot of things from my customers, my initial customers. And in all these years, I've sold so many clothes. I've sold so many dresses to women and men. And for me, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have an idea and be able to bring your idea to life physically, and for people to like it, love it, want it, and are willing to pay for it. And sometimes not just a little amount of money, a lot of money. It makes me so happy. I feel blessed. And honestly, if you run the same business as myself, you would understand what I'm trying to say. And so why did I do this video today? I did this video because there are some people or someone somewhere who is looking to start a fashion business, who is looking to start a ready-to-wear business. And apart from not knowing what to do, you're not very sure, you have a lot of doubts, you have a lot of question marks in your head, in your mind, and you have voices speaking to you. Should I not? Should I not? I had the same feeling as well. I had the same